Okay, the next topic we're going to look at is shades of meaning. Okay, I think we've mentioned this a few times in class, but remember we were talking about words that can mean things more than other words. They just get it better than other words. But when we're talking about shades a word, let's look at that one first. When you're coloring something and you go to get your crayons, and like you have greens, and you say, which green? Is this green okay? Well, there are greens that are really light green, like this. Then this one would be a little bit darker. Then this one would be a little bit darker. Then this one would be even darker. And this one even more so. Okay, that one's gone almost into blue. Okay, those are shades. They're all green, but they're different shades of green. And we can start from a very light one and go to a very dark one. So when we're using words, some words can be kind of a light word to mean something, and some words can be darker. Now, we talked about words that mean the same thing, like pretty, beautiful, nice looking. Okay, we've talked about words that mean big. You've given me several words that mean big, gigantic. You'll like the word gigantic, humongous. Okay, huge. Okay, those are all words that mean the same thing, but you use the words in different occasions. Sometimes you just want to talk about something looking nice. Other times you think it is really nice looking. You use beautiful. So we have words that have a shade of meaning. And we're going to look at words that have a weak shade, a medium shade, and a strong shade right now. So if we will look at these words right here, we have icy, we have chilly, and we have cold. Okay, which one do you think would be the weakest? The word that you just mean it's a little bit cold, okay? So we're going to start with cold. Cold would be the weaker word. But then if it's really cold, it's more than just cold, we would say it is chilly. That would have a medium meaning. And if it's really cold, we say it is icy. It gets icy outside. So we go from cold to chilly to icy. Okay, let's look at, I was talking about the word beautiful. We also have the word gorgeous and the word pretty. Which one do you think would be the weak one? The one that you would just use if something was just nice looking to you. Okay, we talked about pretty. Pretty would be a weak shade. That is pretty. But if I really like it even more, I might say that it is beautiful. It still means it's good looking, but it's even more than pretty. It's beautiful. And then if I really, really like it, I might say it is gorgeous. Gorgeous gives you the idea of something that is more than just pretty. I really, really like it. Okay, we're going to the words I said before. Gigantic, huge, and big. Okay, if I want to talk about the size of something, and it's not small, we would say it is big. Big would be the weaker word. That is a big dog. Now, if we want to say it's a little bit more than big, we would say it is huge. That would be our medium shade. A big dog, a huge dog gives me an idea of even bigger. Then if we're talking about, and then the name just went out of my mind, the book about the dog that is really big. The name just went out of my mind. Okay, we would say it was gigantic, really, really big. So we go from big to huge to gigantic. Okay, if we're talking about these words, whispered, said, called. If we're just talking and we want to say something that somebody said, we would just say said. He said that. But we want a word that expresses it even more. He called. He called out to me. But if we want a word that explains it even better, he whispered to me. Whispered gives an idea, tells you even more about how something was said. It was whispered in a low tone. Called, we can talk about someone called me, someone called out to me. But if you whisper, it gives an idea of even more how it was said. Okay, we're looking at these words. We have joyful, ecstatic, and happy. Which one would be the weaker word? The words you probably most often would use. And the word would be happy. Today we are happy because we get to do something we like. But if it's something you really like, then you are joyful or ecstatic? Joyful. We're joyful today because we get to do that. But it's something you really, really like, then you are ecstatic. You're very happy about it. So that would be the word with the strongest meaning. Then the last ones we have here, we have incredible, we have amazing, and we have good, which is the word that you more commonly use in just about every occasion. You would use the word good. He was good today, or that cake was good. Now, if that cake was really good, you would say it was amazing. Amazing. But if it was really good, you never had anything that tasted so good in your life, then you would say it was incredible. Incredible. Okay, why do we learn these things? Why do we learn that there's different shades of meaning? Because when you're writing something, you want something to, we've talked about this before, you want somebody to want to read what you're writing. So you want to use words that are going to describe even better so that people will enjoy your story even more. So instead of using cold all the time, you could change it to chilly or to icy. If you're talking about a day that's cold, use different words. Don't keep saying it was cold. It was cold when I went outside. It was cold when I went here. It was cold. No, use different words. I was cold when I first got outside, but I stayed out so long that it was getting chilly. And before I went in, it was so icy that I just couldn't stand to stay out anymore. So you can use different words, different shades of meaning to make your story more interesting. Okay. Do one more here, and we're going to look at this. We're going to take small, and we're going to do a paint box with small, and we're going to start with the words that are the more common word. Something was little. I had a little car. Or even smaller than that would be a itsy bitsy car. Or slim. Okay, you have a little box, but you have a slim box. It gives you the idea of a shape that is slim, maybe taller, but slim. Or short. He was little, but that doesn't tell me whether he was just skinny or whether he was short. Short gives the idea of how tall something is. Here's another word, miniature. Miniature, very small, okay? Very little, okay? Just a tiny little thing. Or teeny. Teeny gives us the idea of something very small. Or slight. Did he hurt you a little bit? Slightly, just a little bit. Or tiny, something that is tiny. All those words give us the idea of something small, but it gives us different degrees. Little, it could be little this way, little this way. Itsy bitsy gives us the idea of very, very small. Slim gives us the idea of how wide it is, slim. Or short gives us the idea of how tall. Miniature gives us the idea that it's just a very small thing. Teeny, slight, I want just a slight piece of cake, a little piece of cake. Or tiny. All of those words are a shade of the word small, and we can use that when we're writing to make our stories more interesting. Okay, we have other words, but we're not going to go into that right now. We're going to look at our book, our red book, your turn book, and we're going to be looking at page 230. On 230, it talks about shades of meaning are small differences in meaning between similar words. But in these meanings, some words get it better than others. It depends on what you're talking about. It says, read the sentences, then choose the best word in bold to answer the question. Okay, Max is very wet. Here's Max. He's very wet. So if he's very wet, is Max soaked or damp? Okay, if something is damp, if I tell you, take that paper towel out to the water fountain and get it damp, are you going to come back with water dripping down your arms or water dripping onto the floor? No, you've just gotten it, just put a little bit of water on it, so it's kind of damp. But if you go and you run a lot of water on it, you soaked it till it's completely wet. There's nothing dry on it. So if Max is very wet, is he damp or is he soaked? Well, he is soaked. So you would write soaked on the blank. Okay, on the next one, Tess, this is Tess, is giving the dog some food. Is Tess pouring or spilling the food? Okay, pouring and spilling give you both the idea of the food is coming out of the bag. But if she's pouring it, is it going neatly into the bowl? Yes. If she's spilling it, is it going to go neatly into the bowl? No. Both of them give the idea of the food is coming out of the bag and going down. But pouring gives us the idea, the better idea of what she's doing. She is pouring, and there goes my pencil again. She is pouring, and I'm not getting my letters touching my lines. She is pouring the food. Okay, the last one. Kate thinks the party is great. Okay, so we're looking at the word great. So does Kate think the party is good or wonderful? Okay, great has a shade that is stronger. Stronger than what? Stronger than good. So what word here is stronger? Good or wonderful? Well, wonderful. She thinks it's great. She thinks it is wonderful. Okay, so sometimes we have to be careful of the word that we choose so we get the right word that expresses exactly what we're feeling. We talk about what the author writes, whether he is, what he's trying to say. The words are important to make you understand what what the person is feeling in the story. If we were to look at these sentences right here, I was so angry that I shut the door, slammed the door, closed the door. Well, if you are angry, is shut going to get it, or slammed, or closed? So if you're angry, you're probably going to slam the door. Okay, I was so angry that I slammed the door. Okay, do you want to hear a secret? I whispered, I shouted, I called. Well, if you're telling a secret, are you going to shout it? No, because then everybody hears it. Are you going to call? No, because people will hear it. Are you going to whisper? Yeah, I whispered it. Okay. Okay, the elephant blanked through the river. The elephant skipped through the river, tiptoed through the river, or stomped through the river. Okay, is an elephant going to skip? No. Is he going to tiptoe? No. Is he going to stomp? Yes, elephants stomp. So we have to use the word stomped. Okay, number 4. I wasn't very angry, so I just blanked my dinner. I wasn't very hungry, so I just blanked my dinner. If you're not hungry, are you going to eat all of your dinner? Are you going to nibble, or are you going to gobble it? Okay, I wasn't very hungry, so I just ate my dinner. I wasn't very hungry, so I just nibbled my dinner. I wasn't very hungry, so I just gobbled my dinner. If you gobble it, means you eat it up fast. So you're going to eat it up fast when you're not hungry? No. Are you going to eat the whole thing? No. Nibble. Nibble means just to chew on it a little bit, just to take a little bit. Like we talk about a mouse might nibble on a rope. Okay, he's going to do small little bites on the rope. Okay, the sun is so blank that 1 million Earths could fit inside of it. So if you took our planet Earth, 1 million of those would fit inside the sun. So would we say the sun is so big that 1 million Earths could fit inside of it? Or the sun is so large that 1 million Earths could fit inside of it? Or the sun is so enormous that 1 million Earths could fit inside of it? Okay, it is big, but it doesn't give us the idea that we get from one of the other words, like large. Large gives us the idea of even bigger. What about enormous? If 1 million Earths would fit inside of it, then enormous would be the answer. And the last one, I gazed at the sunset through my window. I stared at the sunset through my window, or I peeked at the sunset through my window. So are you going to just peek, take a little peek out the window? Okay, why would you just peek at it? Or I stared at it, you just sit there and stare at it? Or you gaze at it. You look at it and you gaze at it. Gaze gives us a better idea of looking at the sunset and enjoying the sunset. Okay, so that gives us an idea of how to use words when we're writing and to understand words as the author is writing a story to give us an idea of how the character feels. Have a good day.